Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to another video. If you didn't see the last one, go check it out. We got doors, finally got some non-wing window doors. Got those all ready to go, primed, and we just got to do a couple little other things to them, and then we can jam everything out with base coat and clear coat. So the first thing I want to do today is get this flatbed off the truck and out of the shop, and just I don't want any paint on it, don't want any overspray. A lot easier to mask, just drape something over, and it's got to come off anyway, so I might as well take it off now. So I'm gonna get that off, and then we got a few other things to do before we can actually spray out all these jams. So let's get to work, boys. Alright guys, got the flatbed off, good to go there. Next what I'm gonna get done is I want to mask it. I just want to come out, when I come out to spray, I want to come out and spray. I don't want to come out and have to mask, clean, tack, everything. I'm just gonna mask it right now. That way, when it comes time to spray these jams out, I just come out and go to town with a gun. So let's get to work with that. Alright, we got that thing mostly masked off. What I did up front was just took cardboard and shoved it underneath the fender there, and that should work pretty good. So next what I got to do is I got to rebuild these hinges. They are very sloppy. So this is actually a kit for a Nissan pickup. I'll link these down if you want to pick some up. So let's get these tore apart and rebuilt with those bushings and pins. So what you got to do is, these original Toyota ones they don't make them replaceable. It's kind of like a rivet pin, so you got to cut that off, and then the new pins just got a C-clip on it. So pretty simple. Let's get these cut apart and see if those pins will work. Alright guys, you just got to pound those old bushings out. And then these new bushings just go in from either side like that. And you might have to just take a drill and just run it through real quick to clean up the hinge. You don't want it super tight. It'll actually break the bushing if it's too tight. So if it's got just a little bit of a taper on the end, if that doesn't really go in very smooth, then I would just run a drill bit real quick through it, clean it up, and these need to be a tight fit, but not so tight that it breaks it. Alright guys, there it is. So this top actually has like splines on it, so you kind of gotta pound it or press it in with the vise. But these things fit awesome, no slop. Put your little C-clip on. Yeah, the pin's a little bit longer, but not a big deal. At least we got a nice, tight, smooth hinge. And they don't actually make replacement hinges for the Toyota. That's why I bought the ones for the Nissan. And they actually fit pretty good. So I want to bust the other ones out because I need these to put the doors on. So might as well rebuild them right now. Alright guys, we got these all done, and I actually cut the bottom of the pin off. So it was in the way of the bolt actually. One of the bolt hole on one of them. You see if it goes straight down. It's kind of in the way, so I just cut them off, but the top is actually, like I said, it's splined in, so it's actually a very tight fit, so that pin is not going to move anywhere. So I'm actually going to give these a quick sandblast, and while I paint the jambs, I'm just going to shoot a coat on these, get them all cleaned up and looking good. So let's blast those things up, and we get some primer and paint on them when I do the jambs. Alright, we got these hinges all cleaned up, so next all we got to do is get some epoxy on that jamb, let that dry, then the next day we come out and shoot color on all these jambs. So we're getting close, guys. Alright guys, we got a quick change of plans. I did a little test piece to see how picky that the base coat is with what you're spraying over, the different colors that you're spraying over, and I'm gonna say that it's much more picky than I thought it was gonna be. So here I sprayed out my fender, and then also I have this little, it's a little test card that the top is like a really light gray, and then it gets darker and darker, and then the bottom is black, and that is 3 coats of base coat on there. And you can see every little difference in the shade of the base of what you're spraying over. And then this is also 3 coats. This section right here was like a light gray primer, and then the rest, it was kind of like the black epoxy that I had all the way around it. And you can see it looks terrible. It doesn't, it's kind of a translucent red. So we're gonna have to seal everything that I put color on. So that means not only do I have to seal the whole body, but I got to seal the underside of the hood, all the door jambs on the doors and the truck, the fender jambs, before I spray color on any of the jambs. So that's what I'm working with right now. I got it pretty much ready to go. I went through and just gave everything a quick scuff on that primer I put on, just in case I get epoxy on top of it. You don't want, you know, adhesion problems. Even though I am sanding it, it's better to be safe. So went through, did all that. So now I'm gonna get this shop set up. I gotta lay some crap on the floor. I want to cover up my toolboxes and all that, and we're gonna throw some epoxy on everything. We got to epoxy everything. So let's get to work. Alright guys, got a coat of primer on everything. See here the cowl, I got the hinges, bottom side of the hood, these door jambs on the doors, and then door jambs on the truck. Then I also did the inside the fenders here. So it turned out pretty good. Didn't have no runs. Everything looks covered and good to go. No fish eyes, no nothing weird going on. So prep work was a success on that one. So I'm gonna give this overnight. I'm gonna come back out in the morning and spray some color. Like I said in previous videos, this primer is you shoot straight on top of it without touching it within 72 hours. You don't have to scuff it, touch it, you don't do nothing. You come out and just go to town spraying. So that's very nice. So yeah, I'll come out in the morning and we'll shoot some color on this, all this stuff here. All right guys, now the next day. So I'm just gonna go through, and if I see any little specks of dirt, there's a couple little pieces on the hood, I'll pick those out and then just go run over everything with a quick tack, little tack cloth, and we're ready to spray. So get some color on this thing. I'm assuming it's probably gonna take 3 or 4 coats of the color to get it to cover completely, but we'll get spraying and see how many coats it takes. Hopefully it doesn't take too much, but let's get to work. Holy, I don't know what's wrong with this paint. It looks way too good for a backyard redneck at home, no paint booth paint job. Literally laid out perfectly. I have no runs, no bugs. Surprisingly, I don't know how. Every time I've ever painted in my life, I have had bugs crawling across my part. And yeah, no bugs, nothing. This stuff turned out amazing. So very excited, very stoked on that. Here's the jams on the truck. No orange peel. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this. Looks freaking amazing. So I'm extremely stoked about that. So my next step is I got to obviously scuff all this up and sand all the overspray off, which shouldn't take too long. Just grab some 400-600 grit, give it a once over, and then I still have to do a final sand on those doors, and then I got to put the whole truck together and we can spray the whole outside of the truck. So if I can get the rest of the truck to lay out like this, it's gonna look freaking amazing, and I'm not really gonna have to do much for a cut and buff. I'm really hoping I don't have to do a severe cut on it. So yeah, I did 3 coats of clear and 3 coats of color, and I could have got away with 2 coats of color. I don't know how it was different, what changes I made. I didn't make any changes, but I don't know what was different about it. When I sprayed that test card that I showed you with the gray, like the light gray to black, that was 3 coats and it looked like crap. It wasn't covered at all. And after I sealed all this stuff, I did like the second coat, I probably could have stopped, but I wanted to do a full 3 coats just to make sure it's completely covered. And so I know I got 3 coats on the jambs. I'm gonna do 3 coats on the whole body, so then it should match perfectly. In a perfect world, we'll see what happens. But they're jambs. If they don't match, 100% not a huge deal. So I am extremely stoked. This paint turned out amazing. So I'm gonna give this stuff probably, it says like 12 hours to cut and buff. So that's basically the full cure time. I'm gonna give it 12, I don't know, maybe 24 hours, maybe even longer. I've got other things to do tomorrow. So I'm gonna give it probably 2 days to fully harden up. So then I gotta put the entire truck back together and do a final sand on everything, scuff everything up, all the little overspray that we got, and then we can seal it and paint it. So we're getting close to having this thing complete, but this was step number 1, and I am freaking stoked. This stuff turned out amazing, so very happy with that. All right guys, that concludes this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun painting this. I can't wait to get the whole truck painted. I hope it turns out as good as this did, which it really should. I mean, painting jambs in little smaller areas is actually harder than painting, you know, a big panel. There's a lot more edges. You gotta shoot this way and then turn the gun, shoot this way, and then you build up so much more material. So it's actually, you know, you get more of a chance of a run in a smaller area like a jam where there's all the angles. So I really hope I can hold it together and spray this thing out and not have a big freaking mess of runs or dry spray or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, ring that bell, get your notifications on, and just throw a comment down. Let me know what you think. I think it turned out pretty sweet. I'd like to hear you guys' opinion, and if you got any suggestions, like I said, I am no professional painter. Obviously I don't have a paint booth. I'm using cheaper equipment, but I will link everything in the description. I'll link the gun. I bought that whole suit, which is super nice, because actually a lot of the lint that comes off your clothes will actually land right on the panel as you're painting, and that's a lint-free suit, and it just keeps your space cleaner, keeps your panels cleaner. So yeah, I'll link everything I used down in the description, so check it out. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.